Welcome everyone, we're back with another brilliant political debate. Erich has challenged me on what I have said, that George Bush is better than Trump. So we've done no research and Erich is here to tell me from his vague recollection how
I would say
Bush was so
a
bad.
very key part of this debate is that neither of us have done any research
You see, I
whatsoever.
I like doing political debates as long as I don't have to do any
Hmm.
research uh,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't be too hostile. Okay, I'll never
Hmm.
debate another Nazi. Okay, thank you very much. That was a mistake. I admit that. So now we'll just have a friendly conversation about the
Hmm.
horrible worst precedents. Apparently. All right. So why was the Iraq War so bad?
It destabilized that entire region of the world. It killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. It killed even more Iraqis. It killed, like, I mean, that's just the war in Iraq. The war in Afghanistan was also happening at the same time. So, like, two wars at the same time is really one of the biggest points I would ever need to make is that Trump didn't get us into any wars. And I'm not saying that as like positive for Trump because it's just a
Yet.
positive in general that we're not at war. Like if Trump were to declare war on Iran or anywhere else, he would instantly go into that like fucking awful place. But I mean,
Then he would be in the high score for worst
to
president.
me, to me, like even if you say like Trump should not have been elected the president the first time because like popular vote and stuff like that. Bush
I,
was
I,
not supposed to be
I can
president at
hear.
all.
What about Bush being president?
Yeah, so like Gore specifically won that election
Oh, you mean like
um
the electoral vote
in 2000.
against the popular vote?
Well, yeah, Florida was a weird fucking thing and they probably threw out tons of votes. Like the Supreme Court literally ruled that Bush ruled won over Gore. Like that was a non-electoral victory for George Bush.
Well, I don't understand. How did that work?
There were tons of votes in Florida that were still being recounted, and the Supreme Court ordered them to stop recounting that they had enough like information to say that George Bush
And it was that
won
close
that
that
election.
this one state would have made the difference.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. So I mean that's another like so much of the shit that is happening now is happening because George W. Bush won in the 2000s and uh things are bad because of that.
But how do you know that these wars weren't necessary? Those all
I,
seem like
okay,
terrorist
what
countries,
did they
okay?
accomplish? What did they accomplish that made them necessary?
Well, you didn't win them, so they didn't accomplish what they should have
Yeah,
accomplished.
so there you go.
Well, yeah, but I
Cut
mean,
and dry, there it is.
what if you had like lost World War Two? Would you have preferred to have never started it then?
We didn't start World War II,
Yeah,
so
but
that's not even a
would you have
question.
never joined it if you knew that you were gonna lose it, or you saw there's a good chance
I
that
don't
you would lose
understand,
it?
Florian. That doesn't make any sense. These are two questions. One is that the war in Iraq, Afghanistan is a war that we directly fought and directly started. World War II was a conflict that was going on for several years before we joined in. So you can't lose a war that you don't start.
Okay, well, hmm. I mean,
Like somebody else started World War II,
okay, well, I guess I'm just more.
Germany specifically.
Yeah, I heard that they might have started that one actually.
Hmm.
See, I
Hmm.
don't know. I'm just more of an American patriot, and I think that when America goes to war, it's usually for a good reason. Okay, like,
Uh,
yeah,
it's always a good reason.
you people act like, oh, it's all oil and it was all just war crimes and everything, but you are spreading democracy too. Okay, you give yourself a little
No, no,
credit. Oh, sure.
no. Also, if people don't want democracy, it's not a good thing to spread because it won't work. And
I
the
mean, we
proof
know
is in the
that
pudding with
now.
Iraq and
Well,
Afghanistan.
yeah, we know that now, but like, it could have worked. I mean, I think Trump
I
will
mean, it worked out
probably.
so well for Vietnam, didn't it?
Well, I mean, I think the Vietnam War was okay. You know, like those commies didn't need to be bombed. All right, like they're still commies there. I mean,
Oh my God.
what? You think
Oh my
communism
God.
is okay?
No, you think the war in Vietnam is a good thing. That's what you
I mean, it
said.
would have been
But I
good if
thought
you
was
had
very funny.
won, but like there are definitely communists there. Okay, it wasn't like completely irrational to fight that war.
It
Wow.
definitely was irrational to fight that war.
Right.
Pretending like Vietnam was the last domino that had to fall, or else the entire uh, Asian continent would fall. Communism is insane. Like all of the shit people were saying back then is just worm-brained nonsense.
Well, I mean, you had China being communist. That's pretty much the whole Asian continent. And then like you had Russia too. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty hard to deny that
But
it.
what is going to change about any of these small Asian countries becoming communist? How is that going to affect really anything?
Well, it's just a.
The real answer is it wouldn't. We just picked a fight and decided that was
I mean, it's
our
just
last
like a
stand.
really destructive ideology that you don't really want to see on the world stage. It's pretty simple, really.
I mean, do you think countries should have determination? They should have the ability to make that choice for themselves.
I mean, you don't really get much of a choice when you're communist. Like you, like you're just gonna like
Yeah,
murder
but
random
if
people
the
because they
people
have
vote
more
for it,
money.
if the people that vote for it, that's what it's going to be, right?
Well, I guess you're pretty happy with Trump then, because people voted for him.
I mean, to a certain extent, if people like suffer and it's the people who voted for Trump who are going to be doing the suffering, uh, as well as the people that he's going after, which definitely sucks. Yeah,
I mean,
like
like,
those people deserve to suffer.
wow.
His people deserve to suffer under his
But
policies.
they're gonna swing the dick around and conquer Canada and everything. You know, it's not just them who's gonna suffer.
Here's the thing about Trump, and here's the thing about like the tariff thing, is that he's very easy to cow at a certain point.
Well, I mean,
Um,
he made those initial free trade
Trudeau,
agreements, and then
Tru, Trudeau
he
told
just
him,
shat on them.
Trudeau told him, uh, look at how much money we're investing into the Canadian border. Look at how much we're doing, and he told him stuff that was already being done, like stuff that had already been voted on, stuff that had already like been put into action, and Trump instantly was like, "Oh yeah, I guess I'm gonna remove that tariff thing,"
Well, he
because
only put
Trump
it
is
on
a like
pause. We'll
beast of the
see what
market.
happens.
Trump goes after what the richest people ever tell him to do for the most part, and
Yeah, I mean
so
that's something that you didn't have with George Bush. You didn't see Elon Musk taking over like the whole
well, I mean
government payment system. That
he and
you'd be spared
Dick
that.
Cheney's Halliburton friends were the ones who wanted the wars in the first place because they get tons of money from military contracting to go out and kill people. So it's so much worse, Florian. You had the
Wow.
rich people back then being like, go to war, literally kill thousands, hundreds of thousands of people just so we can add money to our bottom line. And that was the order of the day, and it happened. And you were called a America hating patriot if you didn't like it.
Well, I mean those damn terrorists. They just needed to be attacked. I don't know. I guess it's pretty hard to convince you to stop hating America. Damn.
Yeah, but I mean, the war in Iraq and Afghanistan didn't really accomplish anything we wanted to accomplish, so it was a waste of time, a waste of money, and it was just there to enrich the super rich people who wanted to do it. So
Hmm.
it's definitely of a similar thing to what's happening today, except that there's hundreds of thousands of people who are dying in the process of that versus we don't get as many people killed now.
Wow, that's a tricky one, huh? Are
Hmm.
these? So I guess you probably wouldn't have gone on any of the American wars then outside of World War Two.
No,
Wow.
no.
Yep. Just like people were always telling me like, oh, you just want forever
Uh-huh.
war. You think Putin should be stopped? Wow. Won't you ever think of people and their egg prices? And now we see that Trump's probably gonna take over Gaza. So that's cool. Yeah, you really got the peaceful president now.
Yeah, but Biden was doing that shit anyway. So what's the argument here? Where's the difference?
Biden was doing nowhere near as bad as that. What are you talking about?
Biden was completely okay with the genocide that was happening
Well, yeah, he
in
wasn't doing
Gaza.
it himself.
He was sending them tons of money to do it.
Well, the allies.
If your ally is committing genocide, you're okay with them committing genocide. So you're supporting genocide.
I mean, I don't think that Israel is as simple as that. It's just like, oh yeah, one side good, one side bad, you know? I think there's like a ridiculous amount of anti-Semitism going on, so I think it's probably
I mean, they
probably
made it that easy. They made it that easy when they massively slaughtered so many people in fucking Gaza. I mean, you have the ICC, the International Criminal Court, saying that it was definitely a genocide. So when these kind of international
yep.
groups are calling it out what it is, what are you gonna say? Oh no, they don't count. That doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, yeah, but they don't count when it comes to China either, so whatever, or Russia, or like nobody's stopping anyone except for America. America's the only one who's ever driving any kind of resolution to these things.
Yeah, and we'll duck and dodge out of the way of whatever we want if it goes with our wants. And right now our want is to have Israel as a mini US in the Middle East.
Yeah, I mean, there's good
Just
in
doing whatever the fuck
that.
they want.
Like there's reasons why you would want that.
It's not good if you're a Palestinian, Florian.
Well, yeah, but like they did start that attack and launch those rockets. You know, there's probably Russian.
How many people have to die in order to make it right?
Well, have they surrendered yet?
I mean, there were several ceasefires called, and Israel basically ignored most of them.
Called
So,
by who?
I mean, the Palestinians wanted to give over the captives. They wanted to uh, stop having so many of their own people killed. Like,
I mean, they haven't
but
given over the captives
Israel,
yet. I mean, if you're only
I'm,
giving them over in return for something else, you're not really giving them over.
I'm pretty sure they've reached a ceasefire agreement at this point
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
because
Is that lasting?
we'll see. But I mean, that's facts on the ground right now.
Uh,
So what's your argument that Trump is so much worse than Bush?
I mean, I think that the just everything he's doing to the democracy is so much worse than anything Bush ever did.
Okay, okay. See, this is my problem, is that all of the things Trump is doing is basically like because nobody's standing up to it.
Yeah, and if you're saying that like, oh, Bush is so much worse, are you really standing up to him? Or is it just like, yeah, I guess we'll just see how this plays out. He's not worse than Bush yet.
He's not worse than Bush yet because he's not getting so many people killed in illegal foreign wars that we're fighting in order to accomplish nothing, essentially.
I mean,
Just to enrich the pocketbooks of
I mean,
the Halliburton.
he definitely got like a ridiculous amount of people killed when he tried to block American aid to Ukraine. Like, it's like that shit's crazy. How much he just interfered with that when
Okay, wait. What do you mean he tried to block American aid to Ukraine?
don't you think that he
When was
has?
this? The war in Ukraine was not going on when Trump was
No, I'm
president.
talking about when Biden was president. Like,
Who is he? Trump tried to
yeah,
blockade
Trump has all
because he's
kinds
like
of.
he's manipulating the Republican Party to do
Yeah,
whatever he wants.
that's right.
So Ukrainian aid was disrupted, you're saying?
Yeah, wasn't it? I mean, do
Um,
you remember how in Congress or in House or whatever it's called, they like I, Mike Johnson, I guess, is the main guy who's blocking it, and I mean, he's pretty much just doing whatever Trump says, I guess. And now he's currently not blocking it as much, I guess, but it's probably gonna. I mean, it's all in the balance now. Now Zelensky has to just offer like like all kinds of like sexual favors to Trump to keep getting aid. It's crazy.
according to Zelensky, they have not stopped getting aid from the U.S. Here's a
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about.
CBSNews.com.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about during Biden's presidency, the Trumpers were blocking aid in Congress. Didn't you hear about that?
I mean, to me, that's what the Republicans are doing, not what Trump has directly done as president, which is to me a different thing.
I mean, I don't think it is because he has definitely taken over that party. Like he is running that party with his money, and he's campaigning against anyone who's like against his agenda. Or is
I'm
that
not seeing anything about them freezing aid to Ukraine or anything.
you don't remember when there was this vote in Congress, and then they like they had to bundle it up with like a border package to try to get it through, and then they still couldn't get it through because it was blocked by Trump supporters. I guess I didn't realize that people weren't even aware of that.
Yeah, but did that not eventually happen?
No, they didn't get like aid for a really long time, and it lost a lot of lives.
How many lives did they lose?
Well, I mean, it's pretty hard to quantify, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Like when you're trying to like put up the lives of Ukrainian people or something, as much as I think that they're fighting a good fight against Russia, and as much as I think that they should get that aid, I'm just not as worried about the lives of Ukrainians than I am Americans.
Wow. And you're specifically worried about the Americans that died in the wars where they happily signed up to be in the army. You know, those are the
I
lives that
think
you're concerned about. And then
you shouldn't ask those people to go to war for like because those people just they just think that they're doing what's best for their country because they're being told it's what's best for their country, but it's not.
I mean, if they are fighting communism, they're pretty happy with that, or terrorism. I think they're pretty consenting to be in that war.
I don't think they care about the specifics of the war. They just know that when on September 11th the towers fell and that we have to do it for the towers.
Yeah. I mean, they should have definitely not launched that plane. That was pretty crazy of them. But
No, Florian, are you making the basic mistake that is the problem of the early 2000s, which is that neither Iran or Afghanistan, or I'm sorry, Iraq or Afghanistan committed that attack against the US? Like,
no, I heard about that. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, yeah. So
but
what is the value in attacking countries that were not involved?
I mean, I don't know if I'd say that they're not involved at all. They just didn't like directly do it. Hmm.
They weren't involved in that attack. It was more like the Saudis did it. So if there
Damn.
was anywhere to attack, it would be Saudi Arabia. But we're not going to do that because we like their oil and
What's up with that,
we can do
anyways?
deals with them.
Like, why is Saudi Arabia getting away with this kind of shit? Hmm.
Because we really like their oil and we'll do business deals with them.
I mean, like all the countries they have oil, don't they? Like, why pick the Saudis? They're a fucking kingdom.
Yeah, we feel like we can work with the king, I think, is what the deal is there.
Hmm.
But like you don't see the like problem there is that we fight two wars to defeat an enemy that was not even responsible for attacking us, and it's kind of just something we caused ourselves because Reagan's entire program in the 80s was to arm these militants to fight communism, to fight Russians in the 80s, and that came back to bite us because we armed the Taliban to fight the Russians.
I mean,
You don't see the
I mean,
problem there?
no, if you're gonna arm people to fight the Russians, then that's what you gotta do. I don't
Yeah, and
I
then
don't
we
understand
abandoned
the
them,
problem.
and they were like, "What do you mean you're not going to help us anymore?"
Yeah, you should
When
stop
you
abandoning
provide
people.
us
That's
support
that's
and
that's tragic.
all that stuff. Yeah, well, we're just getting the fruits of our own bullshit
Wow.
coming back at us.
I mean, there were other countries that were on board with invading those countries. So I don't think that it's as like evil as you make it out to be.
Because the United States runs the world order. So when we tell people, yeah, we're going to do this, for the most part, they tend to back us because it's economically better for them to do that.
I mean, I don't think that Europe would do that. Like, I mean, I think I think
They
it.
actually would, and you'll find that they did, in fact,
Well,
do
I
that.
think that they actually thought that there was a real security threat from those countries and they needed to be bombed. Okay, I don't
But
think
I
that
don't
our
trust the
con.
conservative governments of these countries to make like legitimate decisions about this shit. They just want to like kill brown people for the most part.
I mean, that seems pretty unlikely. I mean, the Israeli are not that white, so that seems like a strange
We're
argument to
not talking
make.
about Israel. What are you talking? What? Why are you
Well,
suddenly changing it to Israel?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you want to kill brown people, why would you support Israel? Like, I think there's more at stake than just racism. Okay, that seems. I mean, maybe colonialism, but I don't know. It seems.
I mean, if the Israelis are killing brown people, Palestinians, then
Well, but they're just brown people killing brown people. Like race shouldn't factor into that equation.
a lot of the Jews in Israel are pretty white.
Wow, not brown enough for you, Rich.
I don't think you've made a lot of arguments here, Florian.
I mean, I'm just letting. I'm just curious to get all this perspective, but I mean, like you hear that everyone's like you hear that people are so anti-American that they think that every conflict just was a terrible idea that they went into, but
Hmm.
like there was legit a crazy amount of terrorism that was going on in these countries that they were fighting. Okay.
But two full-scale wars against the countries that weren't like directly involved, and like we talked about weapons of mass destruction that Iraq supposedly had, and saying that Saddam Hussein was gonna like do all these terrible things. We looked for weapons of mass destruction, couldn't find anything. Like, you're aware of all this stuff, and you're still defending the war in Iraq?
Yeah, at least you were trying to get rid of weapons of mass destruction. Now we've got North Korea with nukes. Nobody's done anything about them.
Yeah, but when
You
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 say
had
we gotta get
Iran.
rid of these weapons of mass destruction and we don't find any, what's the point of it?
Hmm. I mean, at least you tried. Come on. That's all you can do. All right.
Florian, I'm glad we're getting this after the fact. Uh,
Yeah.
what is it?
Okay.
Participation trophy from you to be like, you tried.
Yeah. I mean, you. Like,
Thanks for
you gotta
trying.
stop being so hard on yourself, okay? Like, that could have been weapons of mass destruction there, okay?
We
It's
didn't find any. We really looked hard. It was really like important for us to try to make sure that they weren't there, but they sure weren't.
yeah. So now Trump is supposedly trying to destroy the FBI. Is that true? Have you heard about that?
I mean, I kind of don't think that the FBI is going to put much of a fight up, at least not as much as they did last time.
Well, against being dismantled.
Yeah, against like the Trumpite bullshit. Like a lot of this shit, I just blame on the Biden administration. Obviously, is because you saw what Trump did in his first term. Biden in no way steeled up the country's. I'm trying to think here. The country's like resolve to not change under Trump next time, and we didn't learn anything.
I mean, you really wouldn't have thought that you'd needed to do that. Like, it would be pretty obvious that you'd stop voting for Trump after, like, all the nonsense, you know. But I guess you just
I
had
mean,
to
if
go
they
back
voted
for
for him once,
seconds.
they'll vote for him again. That's the essential truth, and that's what happened. Is
I
that
mean, it's
more people did not come out for
like,
Kamala than came out for Trump. Trump had all the same people he had last time, basically. Did not add much in the way of voters, but many of the people who voted for Biden when he ran against Trump did not come out for Kamala. So that was our problem. It's not that like we needed so many more people. We just needed the same people to come out, and they didn't.
yeah, because everyone was just so busy complaining about Biden instead of seeing how good they had it. And now you got Trump.
Well, part of the problem was Biden didn't fucking step down. Biden was totally prepared to run again, even though he was not in any fit state to run for president. He can barely talk uh, during the debate. So
I mean, that probably would have still
that's
gone
on him.
better than running a woman, you know? That might
No,
have
no,
saved.
I don't think it would have. I think
I mean,
it, it would have been very clear that he can barely function in an
well,
executive manner.
clearly,
Like the
clearly
stuff
that
coming
doesn't
out at
seem
the
to matter
time,
now. Like they're fine with Trump being a scrambled egg, you know. They're fine with
the
Elon Musk taking over. Like these people are just complete buffoons, and they're completely fine. You say Biden is such a big deal? No, like you just had to support him, but no,
it's
he
a
was
big
forced
deal.
out.
No, no, Florian, it's a big deal for anyone who wants someone who is actually there to be running the country. And it was not clear that Biden was actually there. We got so many reports saying that like after a certain time he was no longer able to function. So like at night he would just be useless as president. That's not somebody I want as president.
Really,
Yeah,
you'd rather have Trump?
I don't want Trump, but I don't want Biden either. Like that's
Wow. I mean, those were your options, I guess.
yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't. It was Kamala, but because Biden did not step down early enough, the argument was not made, and they did not like distance themselves enough from Biden to make a legitimate argument that you would get anything differently than what the Biden administration had done. And as much as I agree with some of the things the Biden administration did when they were in power, they didn't sell their own accomplishments enough, and they didn't get the American people on their side. Like everything about them was negative, basically.
Well,
Even the things I thought were positive, like withdrawing from Afghanistan, are negatives to most people.
yeah. I mean, that really didn't work out too well. It's crazy.
I mean, it got done what we needed to get done, which is we got out of Afghanistan.
I mean, I
There
don't
was
know.
no reason for us to still be there. No reason.
Except for the fact that now you got a Taliban country. Like,
Yeah,
it'd be better to
Florian,
keep pouring money in
after
there than to have a
after
Taliban
so many
country.
years, after so many years and no actual accomplishments, you want us to just stay there?
Yeah, that would
If
have
we
been
couldn't get
better.
rid of the Taliban in the past 15 years, you want us to stay for another 15?
I mean, better than them ruling. Yeah.
We did not accomplish getting rid of the Taliban.
Well,
So the Taliban's
they
still going
weren't
to be there.
they weren't in power. They only weren't in power when you left. I mean, it couldn't have been good for the people there to see America leave and then everyone's just like going crazy.
I mean, they were still fighting us. They were still present. We also had ISIS to worry about. And nothing we were doing was accomplishing anything.
Wow. I mean, it probably was like the worst timing to leave, though. It seems like you should have really supported like the next government a lot more. But I guess that's easy to say with
Florian, we've been
hindsight.
trying to install and support governments this entire time, and none of them worked.
Like it would have worked eventually, all right. You can't just give up on democracy like that.
Yeah, just keep trying for
Yeah, that's all you can
30
do.
years. Didn't work in the first 30 years, try for another 15. 45 years, try for another 15, 60 years. It'll eventually work, right?
I guess it's not a good argument to make, huh?
How many years do you want them to try for?
Hmm.
If we went there in 2001 and we got out in 2022, was it?
Maybe. I guess it probably would have been 2020. Is that when Biden came into office? I think it was like the first thing he did, right?
In 2021. So about 20 years.
Hmm. Yeah, I think you could
Yeah,
probably
2001 to 2021.
you could probably do like a full 30 years. Why not?
Yeah. I'm not gonna.
Wow.
I don't have to gratify that with a response.
I mean, like, I'm pretty sure that most people don't see it as like a win to have left that country in that way, you know? But hard to tell.
Yeah.
Guess the opinions are split. Hmm.
One way to say it. Opinions are split.
Yeah.
I don't think, like, here's the thing, even Republicans turned on the war in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Well, yeah, didn't Trump like sign up for leaving and then let Biden take the hit for doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. That's how you should do politics. Just
Mm,
like completely schizophrenic, you know, one president to the other. You never know what you're gonna get.
mm. All right. So anything else? Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, are you worried more about like like everything that's happening now with Doge and with Elon? Like that's got to be unprecedented, right? Like even if you say, oh, people aren't dying, like so you're just slipping into fascism and that's okay as long as people aren't dying en masse yet.
I mean, I'm still not sure whether anything they're doing is going to like stick. There could be court orders that overturn things they're trying to do, and then they're kicked out, and uh, nothing they did was.
I mean, you'd think so, but then you also had a felon running for president. That's pretty weird that that happened. Should have been stopped. They just say,
Yeah,
"Oh,
but like, unfortunately, in Florian, there's nothing in the rule book that says that he can't.
really?" That
Yeah, and the other thing is the Biden administration didn't do anything to stop it.
well, I guess they didn't. Wow. Guess it was all Biden all along, huh? He just what should he have just arrested Trump? Would that
I
have
mean,
worked?
after the Trump presidency, the first time around, there should have been several things done to shore up the systems that are in place to keep him out or to strengthen those internal systems so they can't be completely dismantled by Trump when he comes back or anybody comes back. The problem is not Trump. The problem is the system has no inherent ability to defend itself when somebody comes for it. And we're just seeing the fruits of that labor is that if you're able to install yourself and then start taking shit apart, the problem is the system was able to be taken apart.
Wow. So there's no problem with the person actually doing it. It's just like I guess there was nothing to be done, huh?
Well, no, there was stuff to be done. You can definitely make improvements to the system to make it so that it's not as easy to take apart. They didn't
Yeah.
do that though.
So are you concerned about the 20 million Mexicans that he's gonna what was to say
I mean,
kick
Florian,
out?
that sucks. That sucks. But the
Yeah, you'd
Biden
think.
administration was already doing plenty of that stuff on the border. Democrats had essentially completely given up the mental space of trying to secure the border to Republicans, and were essentially promising the exact same things Trump was promising.
No,
Now, Trump might
I
be going
don't
a
I
bit
don't
further
think
by trying
they.
to round up people
Yeah, I think that's a pretty
that
big step actually. I think you really should be worried about that one.
I think, but Florian, I think border detentions have gone down since Trump has taken office.
Wow, I guess he's just gonna be scary enough and then they stop coming, huh?
I mean, I don't know, but the Biden administration was not doing good things on that front.
Hmm. Well, so like it's well,
Yeah, I
I
think it's
guess
very clear that the American public wants this,
wow.
and Democrats are perfectly willing to play along with that because I think at the end of the day they don't care uh, about those people.
Well, I mean, I guess that would be democracy. Democrat?
For
Whatever.
for the longest democracy, for the longest time,
Yeah, that one.
we've had dreamers, which is people who were born in this country and uh, were promised at one point that they would be U.S. citizens. And I still don't think that there was anything put in place to help them out, even though the promise beforehand was that they would be American citizens. So it's like if Democrats can't even promise or deliver on that promise, then there's really no difference in voting for them on that specific issue.
So
There's other things that
them not
there's other things
getting
that are worth
them not
there's other
getting
things that are worth voting for on their front, but that's not one of them.
so the dreamers not getting like their citizenship is as bad as them being like kicked out entirely. I mean, I think that there's like a huge
I mean,
difference in
I
severity
Florian,
here.
I just think that the parties are heading that way. Like specifically, Democrats have given up the caring about migrants part of their
What?
platform.
Well, caring about new migrants maybe, but they're not going to kick out the old ones. That's a big difference. Like, I mean, people will just learn that they can't come in now unless they get the visas properly, you know? I mean, that's way less harsh than being actually kicked out of a country, you know? Like, that's actual genocide, isn't it?
No, it's not actual genocide.
Being evicted from your home is not genocide?
No.
Huh.
You had to kill people, Florian.
Uh, I don't know. Not definitionally, no. Like if you just
Genocide is not killing an entire group of people in a organized manner.
no, I mean if you kick them out, that's already genocide.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I'm pretty sure it definitely. I mean, whatever. I guess that's a stupid definition if that's true. So, but I guess. I mean, I guess it'd be ethnic cleansing then if you're just kicking them out. Is that better then? Is that okay? Are we okay with ethnic cleansing?
You're talking about like Exodus.
Well, yeah, kicking out 20 million Mexicans, right?
Yeah, that's more of an exodus than it is a genocide.
I mean, it's pretty sure it's ethnic cleansing, right? To kick out a group of people. What is Exodus? Is that from the Bible?
It's
They're reenacting
making
the
a group
Bible.
leave that area.
Okay, wow. I guess we're okay with that, are we?
Yeah, any of the following acts committed with the intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group.
I mean, I guess if you're moving them, they're not technically destroyed. But then again, they're wanting to remove the Palestinians from Gaza. I guess that's considered a genocide.
Yeah, but if you just repeatedly bomb an area and be like, all right, well, if you don't leave, then you're gonna get bombed.
Well, yeah. I mean, you like
It's
if
an
you
insane that's an insane comparison to make, Florian. Is to say that the things that are being done to Mexicans in America is similar
well,
to
I'm
what
I'm
is
saying
happening to
what
Gaza.
will be done to them. Like if he's actually getting rid of 20
Okay,
million.
if we start bombing neighborhoods in fucking America, that's when you can make the comparison, okay?
I mean, you don't have to bomb them if you just arrest them and then you take them to the border. I think that's like,
Florian, Israel was bombing Gaza more than we ever did in the war in Iraq.
well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, like the death toll of those bombings aren't like huge, but yeah, it's definitely not good.
Yeah, it's the same number of ordnance. It's the same bombing power being done on a civilian population that's not specifically fighting a war.
Wait, so you're saying that what Israel was doing was as bad as what America was doing in that war? Was that
Yeah,
the comparison? Okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
And it was under Biden. Biden was supporting the stuff that was happening.
Well, yeah. What's he gonna do?
Uh, Not let them do that. Take the money away. If they want to do it, they can do it on their own fucking dollar rather than having the US pay for it.
Wow. Yeah, I guess that's what you guys think should
I am
happen.
complicit in all of that shit because I fucking pay my taxes as an American citizen and I
Wow.
voted for the Biden administration.
I mean, now you're complicit in all the Trump stuff as well, I guess.
I mean, I
Right?
didn't vote for Trump. I can at least say that.
Okay, I guess.
I can't deny the fact that I voted for the president who let Israel do one of the largest war crimes ever committed.
Wow. Is that true? One of the largest war crimes ever committed? Wow.
I mean, on the fact that it's a genocide and there have not been many genocides. Yes.
Haven't there? I feel like there's a long list of genocides.
How many can you name off the top of your head?
Well, there was one in Turkey, then there was. I mean, I guess you can probably count the Ukraine war as a genocide. Hmm. What else you got? I guess you got the Uyghur Muslims in China, but they're actually not dying at a huge rate. Hmm. How many can you
So
name?
10, maybe.
It's gotta be more than 10
Rwanda,
genocides. Really?
the obvious one,
Is that...
the Jews in Germany.
Yeah, the Jews. I almost forgot about them. Where does it say the list of genocides? References. Damn it. Ah, list of genocides. Perfect.
Mm.
I mean, it seems like there's around 20, maybe?
Yeah. So if something's in the top 20, that's one of the
Oh, wow. Look,
like you see what I'm saying,
the,
right?
the, the latest one is the Gaza one. Well,
Yeah.
and then there's another one in Sudan, which is called the Masalit genocide. I didn't even
Hmm.
hear of that one. Oh, it says how many people died, I guess. Portion of that group killed. Highest to lowest estimate. So we got from 50k to 200k estimated from the Gaza genocide. Wow.
Hmm.
Guess that is pretty high up in there.
Yeah.
The Rwandan genocide had at least 500,000 people die. Wow.
Hmm.
Learn more every day.
I'm glad you learned about the genocide of Florian.
Yeah, there's so many smaller ones. 5 million, the Holocaust. Okay, I guess I knew that. 5 million to 7 million, it says on Wikipedia.
Hmm.
All
Yeah, I
right.
thought it was 6 million, but I
I
guess
mean,
that's in between those two numbers.
yeah, it's exactly in between them.
All
Damn.
right, Florian, anything else?
I mean, like, so you blame Biden for Trump coming, but like, so how bad do you think Trump is now?
I mean, pretty bad, but for the most part, I think he's kind of checked out personally. He's kind of just doing what the Project 2025 goons want him to do.
I mean, I think the only person who's above Trump would be maybe Musk. You know, I don't think that he's.
Hmm.
I think anything else is just like you're just throwing the dice that are in Trump's brain, and then you'll see what happens. I
Trump
guess.
Trump kind of just does what the last person who talked to him says to do.
Well, I mean, it's hard to tell. He definitely gets aggressive with some people, so I guess convincing him is kind of tricky. He can be pretty stubborn with certain issues, but then with other
Mm.
issues, he changes his mind pretty erratically.
Pretty easily, yeah.
Yeah. So do you think he's gonna be like? Do you think he's gonna leave office peacefully?
Um, I think he will be too old. I'm thinking he's gonna die in office somehow.
I mean, if he dies in office, who takes over and who's gonna lead the country?
Vance.
But is it Vance or is it gonna be Musk?
It'll be Vance. Like Musk doesn't have specific power in the government other than what Doge gives him, I guess, but he's not an elected politician, so
Yeah,
it's
but
kind of harder for him
he walked right
to
in
take up
there
any kind of.
and
Yeah, I
he
know,
did
but I
it.
mean,
I mean, I'd be scared if that happened here. Like that's crazy.
yeah, I mean it's not good.
I
I hope that a lot of it's overturned by
yeah, I really thought that you would be like way more concerned about Trump at this point, and I thought this wouldn't be that much of a debate.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I guess we got genocides to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you really don't think that Musk can take over after Trump is dead?
No, and I also think that I think he's gonna get pissed off at Elon Musk eventually,
I mean, I thought that would
and he's
happen,
gonna
but
turn
it
on
doesn't
Musk.
look like it's gonna happen because like Musk is just doing what the fuck he wants. He's he's going into agencies and he's kicking out the people that are trying to prosecute his scams, and like just sending his little goons from SpaceX in there, and
Hmm.
it's so insane. Like to me, it's just on a whole different level than anything from before. Like this is just the purest form of corruption I've ever seen, like outside of Russia, you know.
Yeah, I mean it sucks. It's definitely not good. I just hope it's overturned because if not, it's not being done legally.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what makes you so hopeful that it's gonna be overturned? Like, if he's in power, he's in power. That's not gonna
I think they're doing things that are blatantly illegal, and even our terrible Supreme Court will put some walls up against that.
I mean, I don't see your confidence in that because this is like so crazy to think that Trump got away with January 6th, and now they're gonna make sure that he stops doing it, right? Now he's gonna stop being the mafia president, and he's like the fucking cryptocurrency. I can't believe he's just able to launch a cryptocurrency on his inauguration date, and people are just in mass giving him ridiculous
I mean,
amounts of
to a
money.
certain extent, it's the people who gave him money that is the problem. Like,
Yeah.
there's tons of people who are willing to say, "Oh, Trump is making a meme coin. I should go ahead and go with that."
Well, I mean,
Like that's
I think I'm more concerned about the fact that he's just getting infinite money from infinite people that can support him without anyone stopping him because like a certain amount of donations to a politicians are illegal, right? If you give them too much money, that's corruption, and that's what's happening now with this meme coin, don't you think?
yeah, I mean it's shitty, but people have been doing this for years.
No,
If people haven't learned,
this is a whole new thing. A president launching a meme coin on his inauguration day. That is peak clown world. I can't believe this, honestly. Like it's just like, hey, look, crime is legal now. No,
point,
nobody's gonna stop him.
he was doing tons of other scams this entire time.
Yeah, but like, I, like if anyone like those scams would just be in the purview of like actual business. If he sells guitars that are like a scam, they're still guitars, you know. But if he sells a cryptocurrency, that's just him making money off being a president, and like
I mean, that's the
untraceably
world we're
so.
living in, unfortunately. Like, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying that, like, that's unfortunately where all of this shit has headed.
I mean, that's not where it's been headed before. This is all new stuff now. Like you didn't have that under Bush, didn't have that under anyone else. Just blows my mind that this is how it's gonna be run now. It's like nobody's gonna stop crypto scams or anything in the future. And then you
Yeah.
got the whole
Point.
climate stuff.
All of that shit has been happening for the past like 8 years. So the Biden administration did nothing to stop it. So of course it's gonna just gonna keep going. That fucking entire industry is so unregulated and so insane, but nobody's stopping it. So guess what? The fucking
Wow.
president is gonna rug pull people.
Well, he doesn't have to rug pull them. The point of the coin is for him to make money. I don't think that. I think that Trump supporters deep down know that they're just donating their money and they're not gonna make a profit. I mean, they're probably gonna
I
make a
mean,
profit for like 4 years, but like eventually they know it's just to profit Trump. Like it says his name on there. Well, I guess we'll
mhm.
see. I mean, maybe people actually think they're getting rich. I guess I'm overestimating how smart Trump supporters are, and they're actually thinking that Trump is gonna take them to the moon. But like, it's pretty obvious he's just taking like his own finances to the moon here.
Mhm.
Uh, and then the drill baby drill stuff. You were concerned about climate change, and now like all of the stuff is just he's just undoing like lots of regulation that was really important to stopping climate
We,
change.
I mean, just generally, we were just nowhere close to even meeting the basic goals we had to meet, even with Biden and even with like the stuff the Democrats were going to propose. That is really not a priority for anyone running right now.
Yeah, but there's a difference between it not being a priority and actively undermining it, calling it like a huge scam that was destroying the American economy.
I think things are going to get bad no matter what anyone does. So
What, the climate? You think it doesn't it's not important to do anything now?
it's important to do things, but it's going to be bad. Like we just know that.
I mean, there's a huge difference in how bad it's gonna be. Like a ridiculous level of difference between like a few degrees of warming, you know? Like you could have like a difference between like 100 million or like a few billion people dying.
Hmm.
Like, I guess over 100 years. I mean, not immediately, I guess. I mean, maybe we'll just science our way out of it, really, but I mean, it's like if it's playing out without anyone saving those lives, it's gonna be crazy. And like putting the people in
Yeah,
charge who
I think
specifically wanna.
the rich people who have all of the power and ability to do anything are not going to do anything. And even if we pass laws or try to do this or that, if the rich people who are behind all this shit don't choose to do something, the current lawmaking apparatus is not going to change their minds.
But they
It's
were
just not.
they like everyone's talking about the liberal elites, and they were ready to make their contribution to stop the climate change. And now Trump is here, and everyone's kissing the ring, and everyone's stopping like hate speech and stuff. I mean, like letting hate speech run rampant like he wants it, and people are gonna stop like paying attention to all the carbon stuff that was actually doing like more than nothing. Like people always say that it's not enough. Like it's a lot. Like people paid a lot to make these changes that we've made. Okay, all
Oh, I
the
mean, with the carbon thing, the carbon tax or whatever, like all of that stuff, it's pretty much bullshit. It's really just paying off something that can't be undone.
uh no, no, you're definitely doing something. Like you're definitely making a difference with that. I mean, you just gotta
It's the
look.
same amount of carbon, Florian.
No,
You're
it
just also
isn't.
being
It's not the
taxed
same amount of
to
carbon.
pollute the same amount.
No, it's
Yes,
not
it
this.
is. You're just being taxed the same amount to.
Yeah, and then that
You're
tax
just paying money to do
that
the same
tax is
amount.
being spent on 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 things that stop climate change, such as solar panels and electric cars, and that's not going to happen anymore now.
I mean, Elon Musk is what, the number one electric car manufacturer?
Yeah, and he's going to run that business into the ground because no one's going to buy those cars now that he's a fascist.
Hmm.
I mean, I used to bet against Tesla, and I usually made money. I whenever I saw Tesla's way too high, I'm like, yeah, I'll take that bet. And then I stopped
Hmm.
doing that now because Musk is like actively in government now
There's
in
just
ways that he shouldn't
no
be.
there's just no correct valuation for Tesla. Like
Well,
any of the market, like the Financial Times or whatever put out an article essentially saying that like one day the fundamentals will be respected and Tesla's stock price is going to go down. However, that does not seem to be happening yet.
it's the fact is that the Tesla would be overvalued if they can't meet the sales that they say they're gonna
They
meet.
already can meet the
Yeah, I know
sales.
they've made big losses, but now like
Yeah,
they've.
but their stock price has not gone down in accordance.
Well, I
It
mean, yeah,
should,
because no,
but it doesn't.
it shouldn't go down because they actually have bought the presidency. Like that should be reflected in the stock price realistically. Like if he can use the presidency to sell cars in some way, I'm not sure if he can. I used to bet against him being able to sell cars with his bullshit, but now I took off that bet. I made money on it, but now I sold it, okay? Because now I'm thinking it's anyone's guess what's gonna happen. He might actually be like the number one car company in the future. Like he might actually be able to sell Republicans on his shitty cars because they're just gonna buy it with Trump meme coin. Or maybe he's gonna pivot and he's just gonna focus on his rockets that don't go anywhere. But I think I don't think reality is gonna catch up with him anymore, and that's really sad because that used to fill me with hope that to know that all his scams are gonna be found out eventually, and now I'm not sure anymore.
It's really hard to say what's going to happen.
Yeah, sure is. This is the time of chaos. uh,
All right, Florian, I gotta go. It's been too long.
wow. Well, I hope everyone has enjoyed this long anticipated political debate.
Long anticipated, or has it been mentioned anywhere?
Well, people told me that I should do debates, so I think they're probably
Hmm.
happy with this, even though it may not have
Okay.
been my best performance.
I mean, both of us choosing not to look anything up is honestly the best thing that could have happened for entertainment. I'm sure the comments are going to roast all of us, assuming they're wrong. But
Don't you know that there were actually 100 genocides?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
we learned all about genocide today.
Yeah, apparently that was a big one where 6 million people died. I forgot about that one. Damn.
It's the funniest thing you could possibly have
It's crazy. I kept thinking I shouldn't forget about it, and I did.
said. Floyd, you should get a sign that just says the Holocaust and then print it out and put it up somewhere you can see it next to your computer. And then occasionally you get to look on it and be like, oh yeah, the
Well,
Holocaust.
well, I should just buy a poster of Schindler's List. That'll probably make more sense, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I just have to watch it every year to keep it in mind to make sure I don't forget. Yep.
Your annual viewing of Schindler's List.
Yep. That's a really good movie. It's crazy.
It is pretty good.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. Subscribe to Anti Reviews, which is the channel we're on now, and then check out Erich's Blue Sky, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Even though I'm not on there a whole lot.
Oh, you're not? Okay. You stopped
Not
boycotting
really.
Musk. It's over. He's won.
Yeah,
Are you back to Twitter?
somewhat.
I signed up to Blue Sky and it's so
Hmm.
dead. It's crazy. I mean, I probably need to promote it, but it's like,
It's way more lively than it was, but it's still not like a lot of the people I like to follow are not there. So
yeah, it's crazy to
it's
think
hard.
like making an alternative is not easy, and Musk buying Twitter was probably the best thing he has ever done, like financially. I guess he always like buys things at a really good price, and then they really work out
Hmm.
for him, despite his incredibly poor choices.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Sucks. It sucks. This is the world we're living in, but you know.
Yeah, well, you're still happy that you're not under Bush anymore, I guess. You still think it was worse.
Buck Fiden.
Fuck Biden? Buck Biden? Is that what you said?
Buck Fiden.
Biden tried his best, okay? Just like Bush.
Hmm.
Unlike
Tried his
unlike
best.
Trump. Trump tried his worst and he's succeeding.
Goodbye, everyone.
See ya.